Hello, denizens of the internet. So the friendly people at Bounding Into Comics ran a story featuring Mark Millar, known for his Superman, Red Sun, Civil War, Wanted, and Kingsman stories. Accepting the premise that the comic book industry is in a shambles, he suggested that the best of the old guard writers and artists return to DC and Marvel and put in 2 years of work to revive the industry. He went on to say that DC and Marvel need about 20 great books, not the 1 or 2 good ones they are producing now, and that's debatable. That's a very interesting premise. Now, nowhere in the article does it indicate how this might happen. While Mark has returned to DC for a Superman story, I'm not certain how DC or the people presently running and working at the asylum will take to his suggestion. Isn't he stepping into the snake pit that engineered the mess that he is complaining about? Weren't a bunch of the comic book legends, as he called them, turfed out of DC and Marvel for having unmutual thoughts? I'm not certain that the flying monkeys at the epicenter of this slide into oblivion, still running the joints, are at all interested in offering evidence for their own incompetency by bringing back the very people they hated, only to have them succeed. Helping the company back to profitability is less important for these people than covering their asses. I just don't see Mark's plan working without firing the lot of them. It would be a holy war if, let's say, McFarlane, Dixon, and Van Sciver suddenly showed up at their offices. And why would these people return to working for the hated multinationals for slave wages? And here's a controversial take: no more gay-themed stories. For the decades I read comics, there was an awful lot of pining for someone of the opposite sex, but not a lot of consummation. Now women are slobbering over each other and men are tonsil tangoing at the drop of a mask. It's not stunning and brave, it's lazy writing. All those caveats aside, the idea of letting some legends back into the fold makes theoretical good sense for several reasons. Comic fans know their artists and writers. They would be excited to see what the old guard would come up with. There would be an expectation of quality storytelling and artwork that, obviously we've lost. That isn't to say there aren't good young artists, but the comic books I've bought recently all look very digitally and rushed. Then there's the elephant in the room, and that is, no matter how well independent creators with their own projects have done, there is nothing to compare to the OG superheroes. I'm sorry. Perhaps these comic book legends still maintain some spiritual connection to characters they worked on and loved at some point. And contemplating the notion of superhero burnout, maybe what we're really tired of are the replacements. Absolutely no one cares about Falcon as Captain America. Ironheart is a laughable substitute for Iron Man. Black Panther was buried rather than replaced. That was stupid. I would have loved to have seen a decent Black Widow outing. DC completely lost the plot, and no one cares about Black Adam, Shazam, or Blue Beetle. We want to see Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and a decent Green Lantern. Look at the one existing superhero who's still OG, Spider-Man. No Way Home is the only bona fide recent success. We don't want replacements, and that includes Mr. Morales. Maybe if the comic books can resurrect all these classic heroes, that would feed into the studio's interest in recasting their OG folks in tights and metal cladding. It's the only way to confirm that superhero movies have not gone the way of Westerns. Maybe bringing back the Graybeards will provide new ideas to work with that have nothing to do with multiverses. Marvel's dalliance with superhero replacement theory has been a disaster. Disney's aversion to violence means we will never see anything like the original Netflix Daredevil or Jessica Jones's disturbing thriller with David Tennant. Frankly, I'm not feeling very positive about Deadpool 3. We just don't trust Disney. The hypothesis of superhero burnout cannot be fully tested until both Marvel and DC properly reconstitute their A-teams. There is no way we can judge based on Secret Invasion, Blue Beetle, Hawkeye, WandaVision, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Ms. Marvel, Moon Knight, because we never asked or wanted them in the first place. Perhaps She-Hulk, yes, but Marvel could have just saved the money and sent us all home waterboarding kits. The two data points of shows we didn't want and the bad execution of them do not aggregate a credible anticipatory sociological clique. Now, assuming the recast Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Black Panther, Fantastic Four, X-Men movies live up to expectations, and yes, I understand that's a big if. Would we go and watch them? I would. Pack the Avengers away for a year or two. Deep Six, Agatha, Coven of Chaos. Don't bother with Marvel Zombies and Wonder Man. Give us the OG. Perhaps better comics will add to the momentum. And maybe they can give us better bad guys? Am I asking too much? Do a proper job and then, only then, can we judge if there is superhero fatigue. And I'm sorry, the Marvels is just not going to do it. Till next time, denizens, be seeing you.